Welcome to another episode of the Anyone But Cam Fantasy Football Podcast. I am one of your hosts and one of your commissioners. My name is Frankie, and sitting across the table from me is Cam. Cam, how are you doing on this lovely Thursday afternoon?
All right. I feel like this might be a bit of a heated episode. I got a lot of bones to pick. And I'm going to start with picking a bone with Jerry Jones. God, why couldn't he just let Dak play this week? Because now it's Thursday, and I'm just going to have to watch Carson Wentz play for my fantasy team. So I'm doing that good. Does that answer your question?
Cam, it's Jerry's world, and we're just living in it. I'm sorry you have to learn this now, but that's just reality, unfortunately.
Yeah, hopefully Dan Snyder can take him down.
That would be something. All right, welcome everyone to another episode of the podcast. We apologize. There was no episode last week, if any of y'all noticed. We had some audio issues that made the episode pretty unlistenable, but hopefully that gets all smoothed out this week. Whether or not it does, I'm at least posting something this week, so I'm glad to be back. So because of that, we never ended up talking about week 4 as it was, but I think that's okay. I don't think we need to dwell too much on the past as we are already way past that.
Yeah, Logan got off lucky. I just want to make sure he knows.
That is actually a really good point because we laid into, or at least I laid into Logan. I think Cam was also with me on a lot of that criticism for sure. So Logan gets off easy from us. So congrats to him. It's a good thing that he performed way better in week 5. A losing streak? Oh, that's embarrassing. All right, we'll get to that. But of course, we'll talk about week 5 as it was. We'll talk about the waivers. We'll talk about, I was going to say trades. I don't think there were anything actual trades besides for memes this week. So nothing to worry about there. And then we'll talk about week 6, and that'll be the show. How's it sound to you, Cam?
Let's get this going.
Get this going. All right. Last week, we had some pretty big performances. Once again, we had some nail biters come down to the wire. Greg versus JP was the one that sticks out when you had that, the Mahomes versus Kelsey, Valdez-Scantling. You had things going on there. Did your game have something late as well, or
I had
another game?
Derek Carr needed to score like 8 points to take Logan down.
Yeah,
wasn't really sweating it.
Wasn't sweating it, and there was at least one more I thought, but I think it was Dylan versus Lassie, right?
Yeah, Dylan had Devontae Adams, who after he scored that one long touchdown, I think Dylan was down like 1 point to Lassie, and I was hoping so much that he just wouldn't get another catch. It would have been a fantastic loss for Dylan. But he got his first win on the season. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, on the podcast that didn't happen last week. I posited the question like, well, is this the week that Dylan finally wins? And then we were both like, probably not. And then every player on Lassie's roster, besides for Fournette, underperformed. So congratulations, I guess. When he eked out a victory there, scoring just under 101 points, breaking that century mark. So
is that his first time this season? It wouldn't surprise me. I don't want to do the math to check.
It might be. I think it had to have been because of how low he scored so far. I think it said something like 95ers here or there, but not quite. He's not hit 101 yet, but
we got through week 5 and he's only scored 447 points, such averaging a tight 90 points per week. So yeah, I would be shocked if he's gotten over 100.
Yeah, and I mean, in a league where you have to probably average 115 to win an average week, maybe closer higher than that, that's not gonna cut it. All right, so there was that.
I have one more take from last week, just that I want to, because as I said, I'm throwing bones tonight.
Go ahead. You're on fire today already.
Yeah, and it's slightly with you, just because you're tangentially involved here, but mostly with Daniel and Envy. Look.
Okay.
We just talked about how scoring 100 points isn't going to win a game for you usually. But Jake Logan scored exactly 100 points and was able to take down Bet On It, the co-op team of Envy and Daniel. And they even got 24 points from two of their wide receivers, Tyler Lockett and Justin Jefferson, which is over half their points. So the rest of their team scored 40 points combined. And on their bench, they had Jacoby Myers score 20 points, David Njoku score 11, Tampa Bay defense score 9. God, and they started the wrong Patriots wide receiver, Devontae Parker, the wrong tight end, Pat Freiermuth. They got worse manager for last week, and I just want them to know they deserved it. That's embarrassing. Frankie, you gotta watch out for these things next time.
I gotta watch out for that. I mean, it makes sense with the Devontae play, I guess, going over Jacoby Myers coming off injury. But even then, like Jacoby's had a pretty good season so far, and not so much. Yeah, the Freiermuth over Njoku, that one was like I don't know what's going on there. The rest
Against
of it,
the
I mean,
Bills. Come on.
yeah, I mean, Njoku, it's not great. I guess the idea is that Pittsburgh gets over behind it just becomes pass happy, but it's like rookie's first start. It's so unpredictable. And then AJ Dillon has probably his worst game of like the last several years, but yeah, it happens. Yeah, 90 points. Yeah, 100-point win. That is so incredibly lucky for Jake. Congrats to him. So yeah, some good performances. Otherwise, we thought that Greg and JP's matchup would be really good, and it turned out that way. And yeah,
JP has to score the most points on the week in order to get a win. Poor guy.
It's true. It's true. Greg getting destroyed by that, getting only scoring second most amount of points.
I also think it's worthwhile just to mention the current standings now that we're 5 games in.
Sure.
At least within divisions, we got the alphas out here. 3 of the teams are over 500. Myself and Devin 4-1. Jake 3-2. Tyler 2-3. Not bad. Studs and stoners division as a whole is exactly 500. You got your studs, you got your stoners. It's to be expected. And then Rotlack, dude. Greg 3-2. Everyone else under 500 with bet on it. Justin and Dylan bringing up the rear at 1-4. What an embarrassing division.
I mean, think about it in years past. I mean, there was always like one really good team out of Rotlack, and
Usually
now
Levi.
there are usually it was Levi, and now there are no really good teams out of Rotlack. So
Greg scored the most points in the league, but that doesn't matter. He's 3-2.
yeah, no, I was joking. Greg's team, I talk every week about how good it is, so I give him a little shade here. But anyways, moving on. I think it's time to talk about the waivers from this week. The hot ticket item, of course, was Mr. Sipping on Vino, checking on Gino. $35 to Dylan, and no one else bet $1. I know there's a lot of teams in our league with some quarterback issues, including yourself, Cam. But we know that Dylan was making fun of him for a couple of weeks now. I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't get more action on the waivers. Only Dylan and betting on him, and then Devin with a $0 bid.
Yeah, I mean, congrats, Dylan. Gino's your savior. Your season is all good now.
I mean, he is the quarterback 6 so far. So I mean, it's a good pickup regardless. If you don't have a top 3 quarterback right now, you have a quarterback issue. So I guess I'm just surprised to not see more than that. And then Cam, I'll let you take away this next acquisition here. Devin Singletary to me.
Austin Julius Lassiter. Why in the world did you drop Devin Singletary? Devin Singletary, who is RB 25 on the season in PPR. Nothing, too special, but absolutely worth rostering. He's the main running back for the Bills. And you picked up, let's scroll down waivers. Odell Beckham, Josh Gordon, and Antonio Brown. Oh my God, dude. You just gave up, a starting running back on a good offense for memes. I'm tilting. And then I didn't even notice because I'm a dummy. And other people didn't notice. And there's one person that really should have noticed. I don't know if I should talk about it now. I'll get to it later, probably when you talk about his team. But come on, man. Lassie. I understand that you're the meme master, and it fits. It's just sad. So sad.
Yeah, it's more impressive than anything that he's gone to these lengths. Yeah, this is the second year in a row where a team has just gotten fed up with Devin Singletary and cut him. Last season, he, bad a bounce back second half of the year. I'm hoping for the same thing here. I was mentioning this in the pre-pod camp, but my team is the most high T team in the history of existence. I
Oh,
have
we know.
I have we have six bench spots in our league. I have five of them for running backs right now. And my wide receiver three is Elijah Moore. And it's like it's an absolute disgrace. It goes against everything I've ever believed in the past several years of fantasy. But
The absolute best outcome is Christian McCaffrey gets traded to the Bills, and then you have three Bills running backs on your team.
I almost forgot that I had James Cook on my team. I can just drop him now. Okay. Yeah, and even that, I'd rather have James Cook on my team in the case of injury than I'd rather have Chase Edmonds because he's a. I was so tilted by the fact that I didn't notice that Logan weeks ago or 2 week whatever it was last week dropped Mostert and then picked him back up. That I was like a hawk on the waivers this week. So I saw the Zip Singletary. I immediately set the bid, and here we are. You did get Taysom Hill though here, Cam, for $19, which you and Jake talked a little bit about IRL at your house. I think it was with Jake. You ended up coming away with the only bid on him. So hey, Taysom Hill is now your saver as Gino is to Dylan. So congratulations.
Look, at least I don't have to start Kyle Pitts. Thank
Yeah.
God.
There you go. And then we got a lot of memes going on otherwise with Odell. Benjamin to Dev. That's a good pickup. I had too many running backs on my roster to put him on. And then Josh Gordon, who is, an NFL player. He's played some snaps and he's on the practice squad again now, but he could reemerge. I mean, who knows? Antonio Brown will never play football again, but, the memes. So congrats. Nothing too crazy here. This morning, DJ Dallas probably get a pretty good pickup for Greg, who could emerge now that we do not have Penny leading the backfield anymore. You picked up Wentz, which is kicking off. His game is kicking off very shortly. So get excited to see him really start to take command.
I was this close to dropping Wentz and just trying to find someone on Sunday, but then since Dak Prescott practiced today, even though they already said he's going to be out, he's no longer marked O, so I can't take him off, or I have to take him off my IR if I want to do any transactions. So I can't drop Carson Wentz and pick someone else up, so I'm just stuck with it.
Congratulations.
We need more IR spots, even though that wouldn't help me here.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Maybe next year or midterms. Hey, if we get enough people who want to vote for our midterms, I'm down for some chaos. All right, that was the waivers. Let's talk about this week, eh?
Let's get this over with. Just like I'm gonna get over with Justin this week. Easy money.
Hey, let's start right there then. The projections are looking in your favor. Justin, of course, hasn't put together a full roster yet. He has a lot of injuries with Jahan Dotson, Darren Waller. I don't see another tight end on his roster, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So he's gonna have to pick somebody up here pretty soon to fill in that role. Who is his running back up next? Mark Ingram is his only other running back on his roster.
Yep.
Maybe Singletary could have been a good pickup in a tough spot here. He's still starting Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
Isaiah McKenzie's a fine start, of course. I guess he's still just hoping for Nuke to come back and to play well. He's not even kicker flexing, which is...
I'm sure he will be.
I'm sure he will be, right? He definitely benches A-Rob.
Yeah.
Right?
If he looks at his lineup before this weekend. Yeah. We'll see.
You definitely put Isaiah up or whatever, or CD. You bench A-Rob, you kicker flex. You find a tight end. I guess you put in Mark Ingram. Oh, man, that is...
You go back in time and pick up Eno Benjamin or... Devin Singletary.
Yeah, would have been a fine pickup. I mean, there's no one else left. I mean, McKissick, I guess, he's the only one.
Which is playing in 20 minutes, so he's not going to be there in time.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing else of any, like, you'll get some, like, like 3 to 5 points from these other guys, but damn, I
Yeah,
wish I was playing Justin this week. What a throw.
yeah, nah, that's why I can start Carson Wentz, so I'm fine. If I lose this though,
That's a pretty bad one. You do have he has Josh Allen. You have Gabe Davis, so that's some interesting stuff there. We'll see where the targets go this week for the game of the year against the Chiefs. It should be a phenomenal time to watch. You've got a lot of good stuff on your side. Wentz is not great. You're finally not playing Kyle Pitts, so congratulations there. You don't have to play Amon Ra either, which is great. He can hopefully get healthy. I'm going to miss Pierce a little bit here, but you do have Saquon and JT. You're going to have to start more. Dude, both of your teams are not looking hot this week, but I think you caught Justin on a really good week.
yeah, what's wrong with my team?
I mean, like, Lazard. I guess Lazard's been doing better than I thought, but you're starting DJ Moore, which, like, I feel like you've done nothing but, like, talk about how
Yeah,
awful that is
Baker
on a
got
week-to-week
benched,
basis.
dude. We're all fine now. And Lazard's wide receiver 32 when he didn't even play week 1. Get off my back, Frank.
All right, you got me. I mean, he scored 3 touchdowns in 4 games, so without the touchdown, it's we'll
Yeah,
see.
who else is scoring touchdowns for the Packers?
Aaron Jones and AJ and the Romeo Dobbs. They're not really scoring touchdowns. Anyways, I'm done talking about this matchup. I'm bored. We're moving on.
No one cares.
Yeah. And the face-off of teams with low projection, and there's a couple of them. We have Jake versus Dylan, both barely projected over 100 points each, which, of course, projections aren't everything. But Jake here is starting Khalil Herbert as the full backup now that Montgomery is going to be playing this week.
This is what I was going to bring up when I said, why in the world did he not bid on any running backs? Jake has 2 running backs on his team because in his ever-standing wisdom, he traded 3 of them to you to where his running back 2 was a backup that he knew the starter was going to come back soon. Might not have been last week, but it was. And now he's just stuck with it. And then he trades you both running backs that are coming back and they're rookies. And one of them, the starter got hurt. The other one, the starter is Antonio Gibson, and he's been wanting to be benched by his coaching staff the entire offseason. And now you have 2 new starting running backs, and it's Jake. Ah, God.
I'm not angry at all. This is great for me.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Both of the we'll get to your team. Oh. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I can't believe it either. But I also can't believe that he's starting Herbie over.
Wait, I still forgot
Zeke.
My bad.
Yeah, like I don't understand why. I get that Zeke sucks, but like, and I get that he's going up against the top 3, top 5 defensive. Probably top 5 defensive line. At least I've been playing this that way so far. But against the backup running back, I mean, I don't know, man. You got to take the starter on that, especially when he's shown that Zeke is due for some touchdown regression as well. He's only scored 1 on the season. He's gotten a lot of carries. So,
wait, do we think that Jake is intentionally doing this, or just hasn't looked at his lineup and is not realizing that he's about to start someone that plays in 20 minutes?
I think he probably doesn't realize it, but he also typed in the chat this morning, so I don't feel bad about it.
Oh, I wouldn't feel bad either way. I hope he loses to Dylan. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. So, he does have Brees, who's been playing pretty well so far, being a bit of a touchdown machine. Kyler's been doing a little better than I expected so far this season. Quarterback 5 so far, playing decently well. It's interesting. It will be interesting to see how Waddle's role evolves with the current quarterback situation in Miami. Not what you love to see. And then, of course, he has my sloppy seconds in Godwin and Sutton to play as well, which can always have big weeks, although it's not necessarily expected at this point. Jake isn't starting a defense yet, with him now realizing why his projection is so low. So we'll have to look into that as well. On the Dylan side, he does have Geno, who's gonna win him his week or his league or whatever. He does not have Devontae Adams this week, which is unfortunate. Fortunately for him, though, he is going to get to start Adam Thielen and Brandon Ayuk and Travis Etienne in his flex. And it's got to be, they got to put in Boyd, right? Like, come on now.
I don't know if I'd start Boyd over anyone else who's got starting.
Over the kicker flex? I mean,
That's a good point.
I don't even know if Higgins is going to play this week. Like, you got to start Boyd.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Anyways, it's not a ton of great options to have his roster fully filled out. You know, I guess I like Dylan's side a little bit more as long as Jake doesn't put in Zeke. But if he puts in Zeke, I think you probably like. I don't know. This matchup sucks.
I think it's really funny that Jake has Debo and then Dylan has Ayuk and Kittle. I feel like Dylan should have picked up Jimmy G just to, hope for some variance there and all of it going to Ayuk and Kittle. That'd be funny.
Yeah, I mean it's more of a floor than a ceiling, but I mean it could have been really good. I mean I don't know, what are the odds that Kittle gets involved in the offense like this week? It's like it's pretty low, so I can understand that, but yeah, not great. We got to get some better matchups in here. Come on, I need the energy. I need to be re-energized here. Speaking of re-energized, we have Lassie, who is in full depression mode. He, currently is only playing Josh Gordon, who, by the way, his team's on bye this week anyways, so that's unfortunate. Odell Beckham is not a roster, and then, of course, he'll start Tom Brady and Fournette and Mixon and yada, 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 and he doesn't have a bad team. He just, I think, has been having some rough weeks. If Michael Thomas plays this week, he's been off the last 2 weeks in a row. That's unfortunate. He didn't practice yesterday. Oh, today? Oh, okay. Well, luckily he has, two Steelers wide receivers who are on the worst team in football. So that's good for him.
This is way more time than I ever expected we'd spend on Lassie's team when he isn't even starting a team.
You're throwing me in the bus here, Cam. I'm trying to give like analysis everywhere, but it's I'm grasping for straws here. You're not wrong about that.
Moving on, we got Greg. Greg hoping to finally not be a second highest scoring loser for the third week in a row. We like David Montgomery. If Chris Olave plays, he's dope. Mark Andrews, always awesome. Well, Greg's tight end flexing. What a baller, dude.
Tight end and kicker flexing.
Yeah, that's big brain moves because he's got Derrick Henry on bye. So I guess he has to start DJ Dallas. Yeah, I think Greg's pretty set here. I'm liking him to win.
Yeah, Greg's in a position for a decent week here. Not a whole lot of he has good players who could pop. If we say Olave plays, Mark Andrews, AJ Brown always have opportunities for really big weeks, and of course he has Mahomes against Buffalo. So Montgomery should see the majority of the work versus a pretty terrible Commanders team tonight. So I think Greg's side's looking really strong.
Yeah, lock it in.
All right, a couple more here. We have Devin versus Logan. Logan, who is looking to stop his slide, and then Devin, who's looking to continue his rise here, trying to start 5-1, which would be a really, really strong start for him. Let's see. Why does he not have a running back 2 in currently? Josh Jacobs is on bye. Picked up Eno Benjamin in his place. He has a decision there, I guess, between Eno and James Conner, depending on who is going to play. Oh, he's benching Najee.
I do not blame him at all for benching Najee.
Yeah. He has some decisions here. I mean, he's playing the long game to see the injury report before the game, I guess, to see if Connor's going to play or Benjamin. So either way there should be a decent enough start. Starting Cousins over Wilson, which is also a good idea as well. Hill goes along with the Waddle thing about trying to see how things shake out there with their I was going to call it quarterback carousel, but really just like the depleted QB room.
Quarterback firing squad, dude. They're just coming down
Yeah.
like flies.
Hollywood Brown's been awesome this season, and Goddard is been really strong as well. One of the few receivers so far, or tight end so far, who isn't one of the top three, who also isn't super touchdown dependent because he gets that volume. So good stuff all around from that Devon side. From Logan's side, we mentioned trying not to fall to a moribund 3-3. How's Lamar looking for a bounce back against the Giants? And of course, Dobbins versus Jackson here will be interesting to see where that goes. He has that stack with Justin Tucker, which is always great. Kamara looked really good last week, so he'll look to build on that again this week against the Cincinnati team, which has still just looked very lost so far this season. Unfortunately, he still has to start Michael Carter. Yes, he scored 2 touchdowns last week, but
He doesn't
let's not kid ourselves.
have to. He could start Raheem Mostert, Logan. Please.
Yeah, that's a pretty obvious start over. I would say.
Yep.
That's a good call there. He is as well starting Mike Williams, who's been great. Terry, who hasn't been, but that's just how it goes. On the Commanders, Garrett Wilson. So so many Jets as always with him. And then he's currently starting the Bills defense, which should be not a good start this week. So I know I also have the Bills in a different league, and I had to roster a different defense this week, which I hate to do, but I did it just to make sure I had a better start. So maybe I'll look into that as well, or maybe I'll look into a better start at tight end than Tyler Conklin, who had a 68% snap percentage last week and had 0 either receptions or targets. 1 target, 0 receptions. So starts. You definitely start Mostert, absolutely, and then I don't know. It's looking not too different between the two sides. I think I probably like Devon's side overall more, but I wouldn't be surprised if Logan starts having a bit of a bounce back this week.
Yeah, Devin's really giving you a run for your money in terms of not rostering wide receivers because he only has 3 on his team in total. At least they're all decent, I guess. Romeo Doubs is one of them, though.
Yeah.
I'm liking Logan's side, especially because Devin's starting J.K. Dobbins and Logan's Lamar Jackson. And I think if it swings Lamar's way in terms of where the scoring goes for that team, he's got this. And Logan needs to get off the snide.
It's true. All right. Who's left? We got 2 more here. We have JP versus Tyler here. JP, of course, who has been doing this Charger stack all season with Herbie and Eckler, which Eckler, has been pretty. I mean, he's had a bit of a rough start, but the last 2 weeks he's done 30+ points both times. He got that touchdown regression. So now he's probably due for regression the other way. You got Pollard there, DK, Amari. I mean, Kelsey, a very solid roster overall. Judy, who's looking to build off of last week, was seeing more targets, but not still getting the yardage you're necessarily looking for. So JP is a team who's looked really good so far this season, has gotten pretty unlucky with some of these matchups, so I like to see him put up another big week this week. We'll have to see if MVS is able to do much against that Buffalo defense in that game. And then it should be a pretty high scoring one, so I think Bucker is a pretty good kicker this week, as he usually is. And then on the Tyler side, got a decent amount of players on bye, but not much in terms of like must starts, which is good for him. James Robinson, we all know about that. Chubb, Jamar Chase, he's really strong starts there. His flex isn't looking as amazing with Antonio Gibson. We hope that Keenan Allen can come back and be, close to full strength. He's limited in practice again today, so it's hard to say if they're gonna really unleash him on Monday night, or they're gonna let it ride for a little bit longer, make sure he gets fully back. So of course, good stuff for Tyler. I think this entire season I've always thought Tyler's roster is good, just not great. So the fact that he's 2 and 3, I think statistically, the odds are probably in JP's favor this week. I think it seems a little bit better, and I see him more as a. I would be more surprised to see JP's team be 2-4 than I would Tyler's at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for JP having Herbert and Eckler and Judy all Monday night. It's just going to be, I don't know, 40 points down and still think, all right, yeah, this is pretty doable. I really think he's got this locked in. Jamar Chase and Keenan Allen really need to come in for Tyler, which they haven't been doing a lot in order for him to win this.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Monday night. I mean, if Keenan Allen's back and all of a sudden he's taking up all these targets
Oh,
and
that's a good point.
he's scoring these points. I mean, the points are still going to go to Herbert, but if the touchdowns start going Keenan Allen's way and the scoring isn't going as much to Eckler, yeah, that could be a swing for sure in Tyler's favor. But overall, I think yeah, we're feeling JP for sure.
It's going to be tough for Tyler, too, because he won't know if Keenan is starting or playing probably until Monday. And he won't be able to have a backup option. So curious to see what he does there. He should probably, if he's starting Gibson, take him out of his main flex spot. So that way he's got a little more flexibility. But we'll see if he does. Running out of time.
Absolutely, yeah, he might have to pick up some what like a more of a dart throw for that Monday game. Okay, and then last one will be mine versus NB Daniel. Of course, they have Burrow, IFT Higgins, who may or may not play. Did not practice again today. My now basically zero wide receiver team is not looking as strong. I guess hero wide receiver team at this point.
Alec Pierce, come on down.
I know. I picked him up because I was like, I will probably start him this week. Yeah. But on their side, CEH, who has been a bit of a story so far this season, he's been performing quite well against expectation. Of course, last week wasn't his best week ever. Is going up against a pretty stout defense this week, so we'll have to see. Their next option is, of course, a backup running back and AJ Dillon, which isn't the best. They do still have Lockett, who is generally in his career so far has been pretty boomer bust kind of player, but he's been like very solid, very consistent so far. Besides for week one, scored 2 touchdowns last week, so things are looking up in that Geno-led offense for them for sure. Justin Jefferson, of course, can do it any week. They put in Jacoby Myers instead of Parker, so hopefully they got the right start for themselves this week. They got Tampa Bay versus the Pittsburgh team, which has an opportunity to get a lot of not give up a lot of points or yards, so that's good for them as well. And Njoku's really emerging again, so good stuff on their side. I love Michael Pittman, the player and the talent, but the offense is just terrible, so you really can't expect much from going up against a very strong Jacksonville defense on the MV Daniels side. Anything else from MV Daniel?
I just really want to get into the psychology of this matchup, dude. Going up against your girlfriend and Daniel. What's your thought process here? Do you want to win? Do you want to, appease her, make her feel all right? What's the thought here? She is 2-3, so you beat her. She's gonna be 2 games below 500, and that's pretty rude.
You know how they do the end of week, like weekly report thing, and
Yeah.
there's an award for biggest blowout. I want my name to be on top, and I want their name to be on the bottom. That's how I feel.
Ah, you're trying to blow your girlfriend, huh?
Okay, I have to blur that. That is not family friendly.
Oh, you're trying to blow Daniel.
All right,
Now we
well,
get it.
I need a new co-host. Somebody, please. All right, and then on my side, like I said, I have the highest T team besides for Devin apparently of all time. With Dalvin, CMC, I'm starting Ramondre, of course. If I could start a 4th running back, I would absolutely do it. But because of a stupid rule that I pushed for like 3 years ago, I can't. So that's unfortunate. I also have Brian Robinson, who I also kind of want to play, but obviously I'm not going to over those other options. Don't know if T. Higgins is going to play, so I'll probably start Pierce, which I don't love, but I mean, that's how it goes. When you give up all your depth for star players, sometimes someone gets injured, and that's how it goes. I have to keep starting Gerald Everett. Well, I don't have to, but I probably kind of do just because of how bad the landscape is, and it makes me hate myself every time I do it. And then I have Jalen Hurts against his toughest matchup so far this season in a very stout Dallas defense, which I'm not looking forward to at all. Hopefully it's just I hope that they're able to play pretty well. But I like my team decently enough this week. I'm not like excited about it. I think it's going to be pretty average scoring for my team. I just hope that the average scoring from MV Daniel is just a little bit lower.
Man, the idea of them leading going into Sunday Night Football, and Jalen Hurts does just enough to put you close, and then you have to rely on Gerald Everett against Denver. We need to make sure we have something on the books where we're all watching Monday Night Football together, because that would be fun. I'd bring my popcorn.
Yeah, your idea of fun and my idea of fun are not the same. I think it that sounds terrible.
You're really starting Chris McCaffrey over Ken Walker, huh?
Is that a question?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a lot of options. Hey, we'll see. We'll see what happens when Sunday comes around.
Yeah, we'll see you in that weekly report under worst manager. Lock it in.
Hey, I'll take worst manager if I still win. All right, I'm fine with that.
No one said that. That wasn't on the table. Bleep it out.
Well, bleep it out. We're bleeping a lot out this week, folks. All right, and that was it. Thank you all for listening to an episode of the Animal Cam Pistol Podcast. I have been Frankie.
I'm in a much better mood now. That really cheered me up. Thanks. I'm Cam.
And we will catch you all next week on the next one.
I actually just looked at the clock, and now there's 2 minutes until I have to watch Carson Wentz play. I'm back in a bad mood.